Hello friends, this is Sam Cheney reporting for weaponizednews.com. Today's July 19th, 2017. And Senator John McCain out of Arizona has been diagnosed with brain cancer. He has a brain tumor. Perhaps that's why he's been acting so crazy. Or maybe it's just because he's always been a globalist, New World Order, one world government guy. Now, I really don't like John McCain. He's a neocon, fake Republican for one world government. But I don't wish brain cancer on anyone. I was saying it's not that bad earlier to my girlfriend that I kind of like John McCain being sick, but she told me no, that's not the right way to think about things, and I agree. And we need to pray for John McCain and his family because no one deserves the pain and suffering that go along with brain cancer. So let's hope he has a full recovery. Some other national political news: Donald Trump had an interview with the failing New York Times slamming Attorney General Jeff Sessions for recusing himself from the Russia investigation. I'll show you some audio of that. We also have the feds expanding civil asset forfeiture. That may be part of why Donald Trump is upset with Attorney General Sessions. We have Trump Jr., Donald Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner being called in to testify before the Senate Intel Committee in this whole Russian investigation conspiracy. And we have Samantha Power being looked at in the investigation of unmasking, illegal spying on Americans through the Obama administration. Let's go to some of these headlines and dig a little bit deeper into what's going on. Senator John McCain diagnosed with malignant brain tumor. They're talking about giving him an experimental vaccine. And of course, he's going to possibly be treated with chemotherapy and radiation. And isn't it interesting that John McCain is diagnosed with brain cancer, a brain tumor, in the midst of the healthcare debate in the Senate? Let's hope for a full repeal of Obamacare. But again, let's pray for John McCain and his family and that he has a healthy recovery. Continuing here, President Trump gave an interview in the White House to the failing New York Times. Let's take a listen to some of that audio of Trump slamming Sessions for recusing himself from the Russian investigation.
Sessions gets the job. Right after he gets the job, he recuses himself.
Was that a mistake?
Well, Sessions should have never recused himself. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me before he took the job, and I would have picked somebody else.
Mm-hmm. He gave you no heads up at all in any sense?
Zero.
Okay.
So Jeff Sessions takes the job, gets into the job, recuses himself. I then have, which frankly, I think is very unfair to the president. How do you take a job and then recuse yourself? If he would have recused himself before the job, I would have said, thanks, Jeff, but I can't, I'm not going to take you. It's extremely unfair, and that's a mild word, to the president. So he recuses himself. I then end up with a second man who's a deputy.
So there's President Trump going after Jeff Sessions a little bit, slamming him for recusing himself. And he should be upset because the investigation needed to be contained by the president's Justice Department. Now we have a special counsel, Mueller, going on a witch hunt all over Washington, D.C., looking for anything that Trump possibly could have done wrong, or looking for obstruction, and on and on and on it goes with the Russian collusion conspiracy. So yeah, Sessions should not have recused himself. And this ties in with this story right here. The feds just expanded civil asset forfeiture laws nationwide. Okay, so Sessions, Attorney General Sessions, is out there pushing against legal marijuana, talking about going after the people in the states where it's legal, and now the civil asset forfeiture. If you're not familiar with it, civil asset forfeiture, this article has Zero Hedge. Here's a good summary I'm going to read to you. Civil asset forfeiture occurs when a law enforcement agency seizes the assets, including real estate, cars, cash, and other valuables from private citizens based merely on the suspicion that the person has committed a crime with the assets in question. No due process is necessary. No conviction in a court of law need occur. While it is technically possible to sue a government agency to reclaim one's possessions, this requires immense amounts of time and legal fees to pursue. Needless to say, civil asset forfeiture has become a lucrative source of income for law enforcement agencies. And over the past 30 years, the practice has become widespread. So rather than raising taxes to increase revenue, the government just goes and accuses you of a crime you may have or may not have committed because you get no due process, and seizes your assets, making it harder for you to defend yourself, while the government makes money off your assets, and in many cases keeps your assets. It's unconstitutional, it's criminal by the government stealing your assets, and that was signed off by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. I support Jeff Sessions in his fight for the sovereignty of the United States, standing up against these globalist trade deals, wanting to close our borders down, having legal immigration in this country. But then on the other side of the coin, again, you see Jeff Sessions going after people's assets who've not been convicted of a crime, civil asset forfeiture. So that's just expanded civil asset forfeiture nationwide, even in states where it has been outlawed. Continuing here, Trump Jr., obviously Donald Trump Jr., his son, is being called to testify before the Senate Intel Committee about his meeting with the Russian lawyer about adoption. Very shady. She was let into the country and on a special visa, what is it called? Parole visa by Obama's Justice Department. Loretta Lynch, former Attorney General under Obama. So very shady dealings going on there. Also Paul Manafort, Trump's former campaign manager, and Jared Kushner, his son-in-law and advisor, all being called to testify next week to the Senate Intel Committee, looking into the Russian collusion conspiracy. And we have former UN Ambassador Samantha Power emerging as central figure in Obama unmasking investigation. Congress demands answers on why Obama officials demanded classified intel that harmed Trump. And that's, to me, that's a bigger crime than any Trump-Russia collusion that we've seen evidence of. We know that the Obama administration, Susan Rice, Samantha Power, probably Obama himself, all knew they were unmasking people under NSA surveillance, talking to foreigners, to use that politically against Trump and people who support Trump. Many, many felonies were committed here. But let's hope this investigation does go somewhere. And let's hope in the Trump collusion with Russia investigation, if there is any evidence of it, let's have it come out. Let's get to the bottom of it, because I'm sick and tired of, for what is it, 8, 9, 10, 11 months now going on in the mainstream media, Trump-Russia collusion. They're coming out and saying it's treason now that he talked to Putin at the G20 meeting. That's his job. It's completely and utterly ridiculous. We need to get to the bottom of this. And if there was any type of crimes going on with Trump, let's bring those people that committed those crimes to justice or end it already, because it's tearing the country apart. We're not getting anything done on tax reform, on healthcare reform, on the economy, and many other things that are part of the Make America Great Again Trump agenda. That's what the people voted for, not this nonsense conspiracy of Russia-Trump collusion, continually pushed by the Democrats and the lying, criminal, fake news mainstream media, the Mockingbird media, the deep state CIA media. So let's get to the bottom of all this. Let's hope that some of the testimony shed some light. But remember, Roger Stone, who they continually demonize, is denied the chance to publicly testify. They're saying he's a big Russian agent, but now they're denying him the chance. So do they really want to get to the bottom and know the truth of this story? Or is this all just political show to try to delegitimize a duly elected President Trump? I think we all know the answer to that. But in the interest of being fair and not being just a total Trump ass kisser, I want to get to the bottom of it and end it. So to recap, Senator McCain has a brain tumor. Let's pray for him and his family. Trump slams Sessions for recusing himself over the Russia probe. Feds are extending civil asset forfeiture. So that's a be careful out there, because the federal government will steal your assets. Donald Jr., Manafort, and Kushner all scheduled to testify, and we definitely need more information and justice on this illegal spying by the Obama administration in the unmasking scandal. Do your own research, subscribe to this channel, speak out, and take action.